Welcome to Great Lives. I'm Daniel. Here, we honor individuals whose journeys shaped history and inspired millions. Their courage, talent, and dedication left a lasting mark across generations. Join us as we revisit their stories from film, music, sports, and culture, celebrating lives that continue to inspire and remain unforgettable through time. Malcolm Jamal Warner was more than just a familiar face on television. He became part of the lives of millions who grew up watching him on screen. Best known for his role as Theo Huxtable on The Cosby Show, Warner brought charm, humor, and sincerity to a character that audiences instantly connected with. Born on August 18, 1970, he entered the entertainment world at a young age and quickly earned admiration for his natural talent and relatable presence. Yet his career extended far beyond one iconic role. Over the years, Warner continued to grow as an artist, exploring directing, spoken word, music, and storytelling with a creativity that reflected both passion and depth. What truly made him memorable was the authenticity he carried into every performance. Whether acting on television, performing music, or working behind the scenes, he had a calm and genuine presence that made people feel connected to him. Colleagues and fans respected not only his talent, but also his dedication to evolving creatively throughout his life. Though he passed away in 2025 at the age of 54, his influence continues to live on through the work he shared with the world. For many, Malcolm Jamal Warner will always represent an era of television filled with heart, honesty, and unforgettable moments that continue to resonate across generations. The entertainment world remembers Judy Pace, who passed away peacefully in her sleep in Marina del Rey at the age of 83. She was widely recognized as a steady and graceful presence on screen during a period when television was rapidly evolving, bringing a quiet strength and emotional depth to every role she played. Audiences remember her performances in shows such as The Young Lawyers and Peyton Place, where she helped shape memorable storylines with a natural, grounded style of acting. One of her most touching appearances came in Brian's Song, a performance that continues to resonate with viewers for its emotional honesty. Beyond television, she also appeared in notable films including Cotton Comes to Harlem, The Thomas Crown Affair, and Three in the Attic, each showcasing her versatility across different genres. Her career reflected a quiet but powerful impact, often elevating every project she joined without seeking attention for herself. Colleagues and audiences alike remember her for her professionalism, warmth, and the dignity she brought to her work. Judy Pace leaves behind a legacy defined not by volume, but by consistency, grace, and performances that continue to feel timeless and deeply human. Joey Browner will always be remembered as one of the toughest and most respected defensive players of his generation. Best known for his years with the Minnesota Vikings, Browner built a reputation during the 1980s and early 1990s as a player who brought intensity, intelligence, and consistency to every game. His ability to read plays, deliver powerful hits, and lead the defense made him a standout presence on the field and earned him 6 Pro Bowl selections, along with 4 All-Madden team honors. More than just statistics, Browner represented the kind of determination and professionalism that teammates and fans admired. His impact on the Vikings franchise remains unforgettable, and his place in the team's Ring of Honor reflects the respect he earned throughout his career. While reports of his passing at the age of 65 saddened the football community, many continue to celebrate the legacy he leaves behind, rather than focus on speculation surrounding personal details. Former teammates, fans, and NFL supporters remember him not only for his talent, but also for the leadership and passion he brought to the game. Joey Browner's story is one of dedication, resilience, and excellence, and his influence on football continues to inspire players and fans who value hard work, loyalty, and love for the sport. Born on February 3, 1977, Jeffrey Garcia became a familiar voice to millions of fans through his unforgettable work in animation and television. Although he appeared in several live-action roles during his career, he became especially beloved for voicing the title character in The Adventures of Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius. With his energetic performance, sharp comedic timing, and natural charm, Garcia helped turn Jimmy Neutron into one of the most memorable animated characters of his generation. His voice brought warmth, humor, and personality to the young genius, making the character feel relatable despite his extraordinary inventions and intelligence. What made Garcia's performance so special was the way he balanced confidence, curiosity, and childlike emotion, allowing audiences to connect deeply with the adventures and friendships at the heart of the show. For many viewers, his work became an important part of childhood memories and after-school entertainment. Beyond animation, Garcia showed versatility as a performer, moving comfortably between different roles while always bringing sincerity and authenticity to his work. Though his life journey came to an end in 2025, the characters and memories he helped create continue to live on. Jeffrey Garcia's voice remains instantly recognizable to fans who still associate it with imagination, laughter, and the joy of growing up. Connie Francis was one of the most beloved voices of classic pop music, remembered for her emotional singing style and timeless songs that connected deeply with listeners around the world. Born on December 12, 1937, she rose to fame during the late 1950s and early 1960s, becoming a major figure in an era defined by heartfelt melodies and romantic ballads. What made Francis stand out was her ability to bring genuine feeling into every performance, making her songs feel personal and relatable. One of her most iconic hits, Where the Boys Are, became closely associated with the spirit of youth and optimism of its time, leaving a lasting mark on popular culture. Beyond her success in English-language music, she also recorded songs in several languages, which helped her build a loyal international audience and showcased her versatility as an artist. Throughout her life and career, Francis faced many personal and professional challenges, yet she remained admired for her strength, resilience, and connection with her fans. Her music continued to bring comfort and nostalgia to generations of listeners long after her biggest chart successes. Connie Francis passed away at the age of 87, but her voice and songs still carry the warmth and emotion that made her one of the defining artists of her generation. Steven Seagal's early story begins far from the image of the invincible action hero he would later become. Born in 1952 in Lansing, Michigan, he entered a world that offered no hint of cinematic destiny. His father worked as a mathematics teacher, his mother as a medical technician, both living modestly and focusing on stability rather than ambition. As a child, Seagal was not robust or imposing. Instead, he was thin, frequently ill, and often confined indoors while other children played freely outside. Asthma shaped much of his early existence, turning ordinary breathing into a constant struggle. Nights were often tense, with his parents listening carefully to every labored inhale, uncertain of what the next moment might bring. This fragile condition created a quiet emotional atmosphere in the household. Love was present, but so was fear that something as simple as the next breath might not come easily. While other children learned confidence through physical play, Seagal developed observation and patience. He watched life rather than rushing into it. That distance from normal childhood experiences shaped his internal world. He became reflective, inward, and aware of vulnerability in a way few children ever are. Even then, beneath the weakness, there was a subtle resistance forming, a refusal to be defined entirely by physical limitation. That tension between fragility and emerging determination would later become central to his identity. A new climate and the first taste of strength. The harsh winters of Michigan eventually pushed Seagal's family toward a life-altering decision. His recurring respiratory struggles worsened in cold air, and doctors suggested a warmer environment might ease his condition. In the mid-1950s, the family relocated to California, settling in Fullerton. This move was not simply geographic, it was an act of hope. They were searching for a version of life in which their son could simply breathe without fear. In California, something shifted almost immediately. The warmer climate eased his asthma, giving him physical relief he had never consistently known. For the first time, breathing did not feel like a battle. This change had a profound psychological effect. Freedom of breath translated into freedom of movement, and with it came curiosity about physical capability. He began to notice his own body differently, not as a limitation, but as something that could be developed. Yet fragility did not disappear overnight. He remained slender and cautious, still aware of how quickly health could falter. But beneath that awareness, a new mindset formed. He began to associate discipline with survival. This early experience of escaping physical limitation planted the foundation for a lifelong belief. Weakness was not permanent, and strength could be built through persistence. The discipline found in a foreign world. In his early 20s, Seagal made an unusual decision that would define his future path. He traveled to Japan in 1974, entering a cultural and martial environment that was highly structured and deeply traditional. There, he encountered Aikido, a martial art centered not on aggression, but on redirecting force and maintaining balance under pressure. Japan was not welcoming in a casual sense for foreign martial artists at the time. Dojos operated with strict hierarchy, and respect had to be earned through repetition, discipline, and endurance. Seagal trained under intense conditions, repeatedly thrown, corrected, and tested. The physical toll was significant, but the psychological demand was even greater. He was an outsider in a system that valued heritage and lineage. During this period, he also formed a personal connection through his relationship with Matsuoka, the daughter of a respected Aikido master. This connection gave him deeper access to the discipline, but it did not shield him from scrutiny. Every movement had to prove sincerity. Over time, he adapted, absorbing the philosophy of Aikido until it became instinctive. Eventually, he achieved the rare distinction of teaching within Japan, an accomplishment few Western practitioners had reached at the time. This period cemented his identity as both student and instructor, shaped by discipline rather than performance. Return to America and the weight of uncertainty. When Seagal returned to the United States in the early 1980s, he carried with him a discipline that did not easily translate into American entertainment culture. He opened a dojo in West Hollywood with Haruo Matsuoka, intending to teach Aikido in an environment driven more by spectacle than subtlety. The contrast was immediate. Many students expected flashy techniques or aggressive displays, not the controlled, defensive philosophy Seagal emphasized. Financial pressure quickly became a constant presence. Running a martial arts school in Los Angeles was expensive, and early enrollment did not guarantee stability. Some students left after a single class, unable to connect with the slower, more technical approach. Others stayed but required consistent instruction and attention. The dojo became both a physical space and a financial burden. To supplement income, Seagal began working in film production as a martial arts coordinator. These early roles exposed him to Hollywood's structure from behind the scenes. However, he remained outside the system, unrecognized as a performer. Still, he observed carefully. He saw how movement was translated into choreography, how actors interpreted combat, and how realism was often replaced by entertainment. These observations planted the idea that he might eventually step in front of the camera himself. Learning the language of cinema from the shadows, Seagal's early involvement in film was not as an actor but as a technical contributor. He worked on projects such as The Challenge and Never Say Never Again, assisting with martial arts choreography. These experiences were modest in scale but significant in influence. They allowed him to see how film sets operated, how directors structured action scenes, and how physical performance was shaped for visual impact. Despite this exposure, he was not initially considered a candidate for leading roles. Hollywood viewed him as an outsider with limited acting experience and an unconventional demeanor. His presence did not align with the established archetype of action stars of the time. Nevertheless, he remained persistent, continuing to refine both his martial art and his understanding of performance. During this period, he also maintained his dojo, balancing financial pressure with creative ambition. The workload was demanding, and success was far from guaranteed. Yet, he continued to observe the industry closely. What he lacked in recognition, he compensated for with preparation. Without fully realizing it, he was building the foundation for an unexpected transition from instructor to screen presence, the unexpected rise of a new screen identity. The turning point came in 1988 with Above the Law. At an age when many actors were already established or overlooked, Seagal entered Hollywood as a leading figure almost abruptly. The film introduced audiences to a different kind of action presence, one defined not by exaggerated aggression, but by controlled, efficient movement. His on-screen style was distinctive. Instead of theatrical combat, he presented grounded, deliberate action sequences influenced directly by Aikido principles. This approach felt unfamiliar to audiences accustomed to louder, more explosive performances. Yet it was precisely this difference that captured attention. There was a sense of authenticity in his movements, as though the choreography reflected real physical consequence rather than cinematic exaggeration. The success of the film opened immediate opportunities. He was suddenly cast in a series of action films that reinforced this new identity. His characters often embodied calm authority, responding to chaos with minimal but decisive force. This persona resonated strongly during the late 1980s and early 1990s, positioning him as a fresh force within the action genre. The height of cinematic power and global recognition, the early 1990s marked the peak of Seagal's career. Films such as Hard to Kill, Marked for Death, and Out for Justice reinforced his status as a leading action star. His screen presence became synonymous with controlled intensity. Unlike more expressive action heroes of the era, his characters often remained emotionally restrained, letting physical action carry narrative weight. This period culminated in Under Siege, which became a major commercial success. Set aboard a naval battleship, the film combined structured storytelling with high-stakes action, and Seagal's performance anchored it. The character he portrayed embodied calm precision under pressure, reinforcing his established screen identity. The film's success elevated him to international recognition, solidifying his place among prominent action stars of the decade. At this stage, his public image aligned closely with his on-screen persona. He was seen as disciplined, composed, and physically formidable. However, the rapid rise also created expectations that would become increasingly difficult to sustain as the industry evolved. The beginning of creative and industry shift. By the mid-1990s, changes within Hollywood began affecting Seagal's career trajectory. Audience preferences started shifting toward new styles of action storytelling, and emerging actors introduced different energy into the genre. At the same time, Seagal attempted to expand his creative role by directing On Deadly Ground. The film represented a departure from his earlier work. It included environmental themes and attempted to integrate broader messaging within an action framework. However, critical reception was negative, and commercially the film underperformed relative to expectations. This response marked a turning point. It revealed the difficulty of transitioning from action performer to multi-dimensional filmmaker within a rapidly evolving industry. Subsequent films maintained his presence but lacked the same cultural impact. While he remained recognizable, the intensity of his earlier dominance began to soften. The industry was no longer centered around the type of action archetype he had helped define. Gradual decline from mainstream dominance. As the decade progressed, Seagal's films experienced diminishing theatrical visibility. Projects that once commanded major releases began transitioning to smaller distributions or direct-to-video formats. This shift reflected broader industry changes but also indicated a reduced centrality in mainstream cinema. Despite continued output, the cultural momentum that once surrounded his name had slowed. New action stars and evolving cinematic styles changed audience expectations. The once dominant screen presence now existed in a more fragmented space within the industry. This period also brought personal reflection. Having experienced both peak visibility and gradual reduction in prominence, Seagal faced a career defined by contrast. The transition from global recognition to quieter releases marked one of the most significant transformations of his professional life. Reinvention through music and alternative expression. Beyond film, Seagal explored music as a parallel form of expression. He released blues-influenced albums that reflected a different emotional register from his cinematic persona. These works were not commercial blockbusters, but they represented a personal outlet. Music provided a space where he could step away from the expectations tied to his film identity. The reception to his musical work was mixed, with some critics skeptical of his transition into yet another creative field. However, the intent behind the music was less about commercial success and more about personal expression. It allowed him to engage with creativity in a less structured and less publicized environment. This phase highlighted a recurring theme in his life: movement between discipline and reinvention. Whether in martial arts, film, or music, he consistently sought forms of expression that extended beyond a single identity, the echo of a legend beyond the screen. In the broader view of Hollywood history, Steven Seagal's story sits in a space where myth and reality constantly overlap. He was never just a performer of action sequences. He became part of a cultural moment when martial arts cinema shifted from stylized choreography to something audiences perceived as more grounded and physical. His rise coincided with an era in which viewers were fascinated by figures who seemed capable of controlling chaos through discipline rather than spectacle alone. That perception gave his films a unique gravity, especially in their early phase, when his screen presence felt almost unshakable. Yet legacy in entertainment is rarely fixed. It evolves as audiences change, as genres transform, and as new generations reinterpret what strength on screen looks like. Seagal's later years, marked by quieter releases and reduced mainstream attention, do not erase the impact of his peak influence. Instead, they add complexity to it. His career illustrates how quickly cultural prominence can rise and how gradually it can recede, even for figures who once defined an entire genre. At the same time, his journey continues to be discussed because it reflects something larger than individual fame. It speaks to persistence, adaptation, and the unpredictable nature of artistic relevance. Whether viewed through admiration or criticism, his path remains a recognizable chapter in action cinema history, one that continues to surface whenever the evolution of the modern action hero is examined. Reflection, legacy, and the weight of time. In later years, Seagal's public presence became more subdued compared to his peak decades, yet his influence on action cinema remains part of its historical evolution. He helped define a specific style of martial arts-based action performance that emphasized realism and control over spectacle. His journey reflects a pattern of transformation shaped by physical struggle, cultural adaptation, and shifting industry dynamics. From a child struggling to breathe to a martial artist in Japan, and later to a global film figure, his life moved through distinct phases of reinvention. The contrast between early vulnerability and later cinematic authority remains one of the defining elements of his story. While his career experienced both high visibility and decline, it also demonstrates the complexity of sustaining identity within an industry driven by constant change.